Hi, it's Jordan here from ASM Overland and welcome to my channel. Today's video I'm gonna show you how to install a lift kit on your SF5 Subaru Forester. But actually the process is gonna be pretty much the same on every Subaru. Stay tuned. Okay, and if you haven't noticed my weird accents, I'm actually from Europe and more especially in France. And a big problem we have here is that we don't really have aftermarket parts for our Subarus. But luckily, some awesome people are working on it. And this is the case of my good friend Lloyd. He's from the Netherlands. He got a brand called MadebyMade, and he built awesome lift kits for our Subarus. So as I said, he's from Europe, and if you are also from Europe, it's gonna be the best solution to lift your Subaru. Because if you get a kit from the US, from Australia, the shipping is gonna be crazy. Trust me on that. I've been going through that with my other Fuzz. So, MadebyMade, awesome quality lift kits. This is the one I'm gonna install today on my daily drive Subaru Forester. If you need one, I'm gonna put all the infos of Lloyd from MadebyMade down below in the description. Feel free to reach out to him and ask for that. I also have a special discount code, which is NSM10, which is gonna give you a 10% off from the lift kit. So that's pretty awesome. As you can see, you got spacers for the front, spacers from the rear, and also the very important trailing arm spacers, fully braced and reinforced. So you're not gonna have any problem with that. Now let's install the kit. We're gonna start by unbolting and remove the two main bolts on the struts. Now we're gonna unbolt it from the top, completely remove the suspension, and it's just right there. 3 bolts. Here, the brake line is going through this little bracket here. So you can remove a small clip that hold it together, but at the end, it's trapped. It's a hole, it's going through. So you have 2 options. Break the line. This means going through all the brake process, or you can go the NSM way and just take your angle grinder and cut a little bit of this bracket just to get the line out of this bracket. Yay, bracket is cut and the brake line is completely loose, so I'm gonna be able to remove the entire suspension. What you can do to easily remove the strut is to actually disconnect the sway bar just here. This is the 14mm nut, and it will give you a lot more room to remove the strut. Yeah. Holy crap. Okay, now before installing the strut with the top hat, the lift kit, we're gonna install the trailing arm spacer. Every good quality have this. If you lift your Subaru more than 2 inch without that, first of all, the lift kit is not good quality. You should have this, because while lifting it, you're gonna have way more angle, and actually the wheel is gonna lean toward here, and that's gonna be a problem even more if you fit bigger tires. It's also about look, so this will make everything align better. So you really need this. For that, you have 3 bolts under here, under the trailing arm, obviously, and be careful with those nuts. I really suggest you to put some WD-40 the whole week before unbolt them, because there is a captive nut inside the car, and sometimes the captive nut just break inside. So if you break it, you will need to remove the seats, cut inside the car, and re-weld those bolts. It will take forever to do that. It's really annoying, so be careful with that. Go gentle with the bolts, and it should be fine. So let's take care of that. I just support the knuckle here because it's going to drop a little bit more, and then we'll be able to install the trailing arm spacer. And by the way, the lift kit from MadebyMade have every necessary hardware. So because you'll need longer bolts, obviously, because you have 2-inch also here. So everything's included in the kit. That's perfect. It's completely unbolted. Basically, you're gonna slide the spacer here. Yep. Just like that. Spacer is gonna be here. Then you just have to secure the trailing arm spacer with the longer bolts provided in the kit. Just be careful of cross threading. It can happen fast here. Okay, now we're gonna get the strut back. As you can see, this is not the same. I'm taking advantage of this situation to change the whole assembly. But basically, the process is going to be the same. You will have to install your lift on top of the top hat, and on the rear they are symmetrical, so you don't have to worry about left or right. They're the same, so you just have to put it on top. And also, what I'm going to do with my new strut is to open this bracket the same way I did for the other one, just to get the brake line in. After that, we'll be able to put zip ties to hold it, and we will be fine. The lift block is on. Sometimes the powder coat can be a bit in the way, so you will have to smash it a bit, but it should be a nice fit here. Then we're gonna simply put the bolts, and if you want, you can apply a bit of lock it in it just to be safe. Okay, so the new suspension is on, and sometimes you will have like to hammer the back here, because otherwise it will scrap, you know, along. Then get back the bolts here, and tighten those bolts here. Everything is nice and tight. Trailing arm spacer, struts here, lift kit, and then up there on the strut tower, and we will get the sway bar connected after when the car is on the floor. And that's it for the rear. The process is absolutely the same for the other side. So just after you subscribe to my channel, if it's not already done, we can jump to the front. You can lift your Subi, remove the wheel, and get, just like the rear, get the two main bolts off the strut. Okay, and you will have to get the ABS line off. And on this side, this is the brake line, and this is the same thing that on the rear. The line is completely trapped in there, so you can open the line and bleed all the system, or just cut
this bit off. This is
And the last bolts to get the strut off are under the hood.
In the engine bay, you have 3 bolts to remove.
And this is an important part of the process, because if you don't do that, you have a lot of chances that your CV just pop out, and then it's a bit more trouble. So be careful and secure the hub with a strap before removing the strut.
And after you did all of that, you can get your struts off. Now, the idea is to get your lift block on top of your top hat and tighten it with the bolts provided in the kit. For the front, the orientation of the lift block is really important. First, you have a left and a right block. Also, the part of the lift that I have to face forward in the engine bay is indicated by those 2 little dots. That's important for the camber and caster correction. Now you can simply install your struts with the lift and secure it on top with the 3 bolts. After that, you can put the 2 main bolts and the ABS line. The difference with the rear is the camber adjustment with one of the 2 main bolts. What I usually do while installing a 2-inch lift kit is to set up it with the most negative camber I can. It worked pretty well on my 2 Forester, but I recommend to get an alignment by a professional. Now you can tighten the nut, but make sure that your bolt is not moving at the same time. After that, you will just have to reconnect your sway bar. Make sure everything is nicely tight and secure, and you're good to do the same on the other side. And when it's all finished, you can enjoy your lifted Subaru. It looked pretty awesome.
And that's it for the how-to video. I really hope it will help you to lift your Subaru. Honestly, you can do it by yourself. At the end, it's not that difficult. So go for it, it's definitely worth it. And if you like this video, you can subscribe to the channel, it always helps. You can also check my Instagram account for awesome pictures and my website at nsmoverland.com for even more awesome content. And if you want to support me maybe in another way, I also have a Patreon page. So thank you guys for watching, and see you next week.